who know, those of you who know about some of the other clubs in the area know that they're some of them aren't really operating right now. And I think the shutdown was really hard on like Philly Homebrew Club and Delco Waterworks, and we, for better or for worse, we had a Zoom meeting every month. We had presentations every month. We had guest speakers every month. No one will ever forget the presentation from the hops guy that was in the middle of a keg party, right? I mean, so we had good meetings and we had good attendance, and major shout out to our outgoing president, Sean Melody. I think, Sean, thank you, did a great job and really kept us going as a club in that period. And I don't even know if we would be here right now if we had said, oh, we're just going to shut down, and we'll get back together when this is over, because it ended up being a lot longer than I think anybody expected it to. So major shout out to Sean, major shout out to the club, not only for participating in the meetings. We got to thank you for paying your dues, right? Look, this for all intents and purposes, all of our revenue, all of our income, I should say, comes from your dues. It's that and the 50-50, right? That's it. That's our only source of income. So to those of you who participated in the virtual meetings last year and still paid your dues, thank you. You kept the club going. And if we hadn't done that, like I said, I'm not sure we'd be here right now. And I'll just take this time as a gentle reminder. A lot of you have already paid your 2022 dues. If you haven't yet, yeah, your shirt's coming, my man. Your shirt's coming, right? Next meeting, I promise. Shirts next meeting, right? You can go on to the website. We're going to talk about the website. Dave has spent a lot of time on the website. The website is already a whole lot better than it was, and it's going to continue to improve. You're killing me, Dan. All right. Completely lost my train of thought, right? You can go on the website and you can pay your dues that way. You can wait till we're in person next time, pay with cash or a check or credit card. But please, if you love the club, you want to help us out, please consider paying your dues and helping us fund all the cool things we want to do this year. All right, enough of that. Next slide, please. All right, so this year, what do we have planned? We will go back to, like I said earlier, we'll go back to in-person meetings at the Pig as soon as we can. Hopefully, if things keep trending downwards, we'll be back there next month. Keeping a lookout, like I said, after the February board meeting, we will let everybody know what we've decided. All right, so you will know we meet the first week of February, which is the first actually. And the meeting is on the 17th. So you will get, 2 weeks of lead time to know whether we're meeting virtually or whether we're meeting in person in February. All right. But from there, we're just going to have to play it month by month, right? If it gets bad again later, we might have to, maybe we're back and forth between virtual and at the Pig. I don't know. We'll see. All right. One of the things we would like to start again, which is something we started doing in 2019, but kind of got sidetracked because of the shutdown, is we have a sub club. Is that a subgroup of the club? It's called The Bomb Competes, right? And yeah, that's true. Bomb Competes, right? And so this is a subgroup for anybody who is interested in participating in BJCP judged competitions, right? So, for example, War of the Warts is really, really, really soon. It's in February, right? I don't know if anybody has entered. If you have entered, you got to get your beer in like War of the Warts, right? You got to get your beer in really, really soon because judging is like in a couple weeks. But the goal of this kind of subgroup, January 23rd. Thanks, Jake. So yeah, cutoff is Sunday. And I talked to Eric. Eric is not a drop-off location this year. So if you're doing it, you got to get your beer up to Keystone on your own, which is not great, but it is what it is, right? Yes, only Keystone. You got to get it up there on your own. I guess if you're feeling lucky, you can try shipping it or, driving up there. But the goal of the Bomb Competes is just to get people together who are interested in the entering their beers in the judge competitions, just to kind of talk about what's going on and what's coming up and let people know. Literally what we do is we meet at like 6:45. We meet from like 6:45 to 7 o'clock before the regular meeting. So in February, if we are in person at the Pig in February, the Bomb Competes subgroup will meet at 6:45 upstairs just to talk about BJCP judge competitions. All are welcome. Do you need to be an American Homebrew Association member to compete? It really depends on the competition, right? Some you do, some you don't. It will depend on the competition. I don't know, but if you're interested in that and we're in person in February, come early, 6:45. We'll talk about this some more. If we're Zoom in February, we'll push it back to March, whatever the case may be. But when we're meeting in person, yeah, Sean, I think you're right. I think American Homebrew Competition, it might be the only one that requires AHA membership. I think you're right about that. Anyway, Bomb Competes, 6:45. Next time we're at the Pig. Come one, come all. Everybody's welcome. All right. Bombing Run 2022. We are doing the Bombing Run this year, and we are doing it in person. As God is my witness, we are going to do this thing, and we are going to have it in person. Our goal is to have 12 entrants. An entrant can be an individual or a team of 2. As of right now, we have 13 people registered. All right. So we're probably looking at a lottery. All right. The people who were top 3 in 2021 are guaranteed a slot. I'm not going to do it this year, but second, and we had a tie for third. So those 3 people, you know who you are guaranteed a slot. Don't worry about it. The rest, we're probably looking at a lottery, depending on, final number of registrations. We need to get this nailed down. So I didn't want to close it before we had the meeting, just so we could talk about it right now, but we're going to close it tomorrow. All right. So if you're interested and you haven't signed up, please, please, please do it tonight, do it tomorrow morning, right? You can go to the website. The link is on the Facebook page. The link is on the in the email blast that Dave sent out. You should have a link. If you can't find the link, let me know. But we need to kind of get this locked down and because if we have more people than we have slots and we have to do a lottery, we want to get that figured out. And, time's getting tight. So we're going to give you 24 hours, right, from now. If you haven't signed up and you want to, do it now, please. Okay. 3 rounds. 3 rounds. First round, dry Irish stouts in March for St. Patrick's Day. Okay. The meeting is actually on St. Patrick's Day. 3rd Thursday of March is oh, look at Sean. Thank you, sir. There's the link. No excuse, right? So our March meeting is St. Patrick's Day. So we have to do dry Irish stouts. All right. That's going to be round 1. It's going to be a lot of fun. Round 2 is going to be in July. This one is our technical challenge. We're kind of going out on a limb here. We're doing something a little different, but I think this is going to be a lot of fun too. We are literally letting you do whatever you want. The only requirement is that you ferment with Philly sour yeast. You can do anything else, any beer style, any adjuncts. Knock yourself out. It's crazy. It's insanity, Dan. Whatever you want to do, whatever you think is going to best showcase the Philly sour yeast, have at it, build your recipe, go nuts with it, right? So that's July. That's going to be a lot of fun. And then the third round is Munich Helles, and we're going to learn all about Munich Helles in a little while from our friend Alex. That'll be in November. You can see there I have in parentheses actual or pseudo lager. What I mean by that is, Munich Helles is a lager. So if you want to do proper lager yeast and you have temperature control and you can ferment at lager temperatures, have at it. If you don't have temperature control, you can still do it, right? You can do what they call a pseudo lager. I'm not going to give away the farm here, but Google it, right? There are ways to do lagers without lager yeasts. There are other yeasts that work really well and give you a nice pseudo lager. So it's your call, and you don't have to tell us whether you used lager yeast or you used a Kvike or whatever. But the goal here is to do a true Munich Helles, and you're killing me, Dan. All right, so whatever works, right? Well, that goes without saying. So that's it. Those are our three styles. I'm looking forward to this year. I think it's going to be cool. We're doing three really cool things. I like the list of people who are signed up. We got a good mix of people. It's going to be a lot of fun. So, like I said, if you haven't registered, you want to register. We got to close this thing down soon. So register now, please. All right. Oh, there you go. Ed is dropping off. Just kind of make sure everybody sees that. Ed is dropping off beer at Keystone for War of the Warts. So if you have something to drop off, get in touch with Ed. Thank you, Ed. All right, next slide, please. All right, this is important. This is another question here that's another issue here that's coming up really quickly. I talked about Kennett Brewfest back in the fall. They also have something called Kennett Winterfest, which is an indoor beer festival. It's the last Saturday in February 26th. We have been invited to pour, just like we have done in the past. We have a sign-up sheet out there. As of right now, we only have two. Oh, it is outside. Oh, you're right, Kevin. I'm sorry about that. Thank you. It is outside. It is outside. It's not inside. You're right. I haven't actually ever gone. If we're going to pour, we need beer. As of right now, we have two people signed up. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Dave. Got to be honest, two people probably isn't enough. So if you're interested in participating, even if you can't make it, if you're willing to donate 5 gallons, please sign up, right? The sign up sheet is out there. Please sign up. We have 3 tickets, free tickets, right? 3 free tickets. That's not easy. For anybody who wants to pour, okay? If we get more people signed up, we'll try and get a couple more tickets. I can't promise, right? We'll get as many tickets, if we can get another 2 or 3 tickets, we'll get our hands on them, but I can't guarantee that. We'll have to see what we can do. I actually have the spreadsheet open right now. I see Jake and David and John signing up. So can donate and probably pour. Okay, great. I appreciate this. If you can sign up. I see people signing up right now. This is fantastic. Thank you. I will do what I can to get everybody who wants to go a ticket for free. I will try. We will try our best. You know, if we have 10 people that want to pour, I can't promise that. Right now we have 5 signed up. We'll see what we can do. We will get as many as we can. All right. So thank you for that. Looks like it's a lot of fun. I personally have never done it because I don't keg, but the people who've done it love it, say it's have a lot of fun, get a lot of great feedback. So excellent. All right.
Hey, Tim.
Yes.
Just real quick, aside from the free and whatever other tickets the board/club gets, just as a reminder, because that'll still be limited. You know, hopefully we have 4, we might be able to get 5, but or you know, but not much more than that. But that said, there will also be a sign up list for volunteers from the organization that puts on the event, and you know, that's, you know, anybody can sign up for that, and you get a free ticket. You have to do a little bit of work, but that's the price of getting in. I think the tickets to get into the event are $75 for the main event. I think it's more than that for the connoisseur ticket. So that's what you're getting for a little bit of volunteering.
Yeah.
So we'll send that information along as well as soon as it becomes available for the volunteer list. So just another option. I just want to mention that. Sorry. Thanks.
Yeah, no, thanks, Kevin. I appreciate it. I mean, the club is willing, you know, the club will buy a couple extra tickets if it comes to that. I don't have a problem with that. The club can't buy 10, right? But the club can buy 2 or 3, right? I have no problem with buying 2 or 3 so that everybody who's pouring can get in for free. Or if you're willing to volunteer and get in that way. But, you know, don't let that hold you back. We will do what we can to get everybody who signs up a ticket, whether we get them for free or whether the club pays for them. You know, don't worry about that. We'll do what we can to work that out. Okay. All right. Excellent. Next thing, we are thinking about doing a bus tour in the spring. Honestly, it really depends on, you know, COVID and what it looks like. When in the spring, kind of TBD. I think we would wait until it's warm enough where we don't have to worry about, you know, having to cancel because of weather, right? So I'm not thinking February. I'm not even really thinking March. So it's maybe April, maybe May. We haven't talked about where, and it really kind of, like I said, depends on how COVID is. But, you know, stay tuned for that, guys. I would, you know, if it makes sense and we can do that, we'll let you know, but we'll you know, look for more information on that in the next month or 2. All right. That brings us up to major topic that I'm actually going to kick it over to Sean, and that is to talk about HomebrewCon, which is June 23rd to June 25th. It's in Pittsburgh. This is an amazing event, and it is really cool that it's as close as it is. This is the closest it's been since, I mean, it was in Philly, like, I don't even remember, 8 or 9 years ago, something like that. But this is the closest it's been since then. So we as a club need to talk about what we want to do. What level of involvement do we want to have? Who wants to go? How many people want to go? And if we're going to go, we can do things like arrange, you know, transportation and ride sharing and stuff out like that. That's fine. But one of the decisions we kind of have to make sooner rather than later is whether or not we want to have a booth and whether or not we want to pour. So there are 2 opportunities at HomebrewCon for homebrew clubs to pour. just like what we were talking about for Kennett Winterfest, where we would bring kegs out and we could pour. So we have to decide if this is something that we collectively as a club are interested in doing. So Sean, do you want to jump on a little bit and talk about, your experience at what our opportunities for pouring are actually like?
Sure. Can everybody hear me? I have weird Zoom issues as always, which is why I'm glad I'm not hosting tonight.
Hear you.
So there are two opportunities for formal pouring. So there's during the entire weekend, and for those who have been there, like Dan, if I miss anything, let me know. But there's a trade show of all the homebrew equipment, hop companies, and it's set up in the biggest part of the convention center usually. And it's a really fun time. You can go around and get a lot of free stuff. Talk to the homebrew equipment makers that you love the most. I think, Chris, if you go, you can pretty much hang out at the SS brew tent the entire time with your friends there. But it's in the middle, or usually there's a bar set up throughout the session times when the trade show is open or the expo is open, and clubs get like an hour to pour. So they can, just like we would at Kennett Brewfest or anything else, you basically show up, you have a handful of beers on draft, and as people are walking around the expo, they'll come by, get a pour with the glass that they're provided, and then move on. Sometimes they hang out and talk to you about what you brought, stuff like that. That's very simple and straightforward. It's an hour. It's a handful of beers. You're not looking to kick any beers because you're not there for a long time. But it's a great way for a local club to just meet people and talk to people at the convention at HomebrewCon. Then on the second night, there is club night, and that is a true, honest to God homebrew beer fest. It's like going to any commercial or regular beer fest, but it is all homebrew beer. There is no professionally brewed beer available at that night. And basically what happens is clubs from all over the country show up, ship kegs of beer there, and set up a booth. And the booths are everything from a simple booth like we would have at Kennett, or like we used to have at Brandywine, to very elaborate, very decorated and themed booths, which are half the fun. Like some clubs really go all out. As an example, when it was in Philadelphia and I was part of the Philadelphia Homebrew Club, our booth was our theme was Rocky. And so we had everyone dressed up. We had people dressed up as, some of the people from the Rocky movies, and our booth was a boxing ring, and we had, we had a lot of fun with it. And we walked around in costume with like big sweatshirts and, all that fun stuff. And a lot of people do that. Like the club night is a great time, and it's a lot of beer. So when we get into planning this, it's easier for us because we're local. We can drive there, so we can bring a lot of stuff. But my suggestion is, you want to empty your kegs, because otherwise you're, having to bring them home. And, we can talk through all that. But I think what we really need to know is to commit to one or the other or both requires a lot of beer. It requires a lot of volunteer time and effort if we're going to build or do anything special for the club night. And I think it also needs to be clear, like Tim was saying, you can go and be a representative of the BOM, but not be involved in these events either. So like if you want to just go to HomebrewCon but are not interested in bringing beer or pouring beer, that's fine. So there's really, no expectation there. But I think we as a club would just need to decide what we want to do, what type of presence we want, because it's not very often that these are this close, and how we want to do that. we don't have to decide this tonight, but you know, it is something we would need to decide sooner rather than later, just to start planning ahead, because it'll be here before we know it. And hotel rooms book up fast, all that stuff. So like if you're planning on going, just another thing of advice, I would reserve your hotel room now. You know, you're not going to pay for it, right? You can cancel it. Cancellation fees are pretty flexible with these rooms, but you may want to do that just to save a room if you're planning on going, because they do book up fast. And the website, I can pop that link into the chat again, so you can sign up. And you do need to be an AHA member to attend. So you can't just show up. You can't buy your ticket without being an AHA member. So if you're planning on going, get your membership, make sure you list the BOM as your club when you get your membership, and then get your ticket.
Right. Good question, Ed. I don't know. Sean, do you know, is this going to cost us anything to get a booth?
No, there's no cost to the clubs to have a booth or presence there. The cost is whatever we would decide to do if we were to decorate it and stuff like that.
Okay, great. So what I'm thinking we'll do, be on the lookout. I think we'll send a survey around to kind of gauge people's interest. You know, how many people are planning to go? And if you're going, what do you want to do? Do you just want to go and attend, or do you want to pour? If we're going to go down the path of pouring and have a booth, we're going to need to form a planning committee, right? This is, you know, above and beyond what we normally do, you know, so this is not something, you know, the board's got to take care of the club meetings, right? So for those of you who, if you're going to go and we want to pour, we're going to be looking for volunteers to kind of form a separate planning committee to plan the logistics of setting up the booth. Okay, so think about it, and like I said, I'll work with Dave. We'll probably send out a survey monkey here in the next week or so, just to kind of see where people are in terms of their thoughts about this. And I think it would be really cool to have a booth, but at the same time, I understand, you know, it's a lot of time, a lot of effort asking you to drag kegs across the state. If people don't want to do that, that's fine with me, but we need to decide one way or the other. Any other thoughts, comments, questions on that before we move on? All right, next slide. All right. We were going to try and have a Christmas party, and we all know that didn't work out. We are thinking about possibly doing a summer outdoor picnic, barbecue, pig roast kind of thing, something. You know, I'd like to hear people's thoughts about that, and if there's interest. The one thing, of course, will be a location. Right? This isn't, you know, we're going to want to have beer at this, right? So most, you know, parks, state parks and, you know, township parks and things like that aren't going to let you have alcohol, right? So we're probably going to need someone to host. So again, don't have to decide right now, but it's something we want to think about. I think it would be fun, but at the same time, you know, location, right? We're going to have to find a place where we could have this. So if anybody has ideas about where we could have an outdoor summer get together, yeah, you're welcome to come over to my house. About 3 of you can fit into my backyard. But anyway, we'll think about that. We'll talk about that. We'll make a call one way or the other in the next you know, couple months. So give that some thought. Let me know if you have any good ideas about where we can go that aren't going to hassle us about having beer on the premises. And you know, it's also not say, I don't want to, the club can't afford to pay, a real big, a lot of money to rent out a pavilion or anything like that. So I'd like to do it on the cheap. It'd be nice to have it catered or to do like a barbecue or something like that. But I want to keep the price reasonable. So anybody with ideas about that, let me know. Okay. What else? I mentioned a bus tour in the spring. We may try and, do 2 bus tours this year. So we're also thinking about a spring bus tour, and then we're thinking about another bus tour, probably like, September or something like that. Again, just kind of throwing it out there. Nothing set in stone yet. I would like to hear in general whether there's interest in doing 2 bus tours. You guys know in the past, the time commitment, the cost, they're a lot of fun, but is 1 enough, or would you rather do 2? Let me know. We'll try and go 2 different directions. We haven't even thought about that yet, but I'm just kind of putting that out there as possibilities. Throwing this out there now, is plenty of time. We're doing Winterfest in February. Kennett Brewfest is in October, and I'm certain we will have the opportunity to pour there again. So put that on your calendar. If you can't do Winterfest because it's too tight, timeline's too tight, but it's something you'd like to do, you're going to have another chance in October. So think about that, and you can always schedule your brew days around that so that you can be ready to pour at Kennett Brewfest in October. God willing, we're going to have our Christmas party this year. All right, we'll try and get back to the fire hall, Rose Tree Fire Hall, in December. We are really going to try. We'll see. I can't even predict what's going to happen next week versus what the world's going to look like in December, but we have every intention of having our Christmas party in December. That's it. That's kind of the schedule for this year. If you have other ideas, we really want to hear them. Let me know. This is your club. This is 100% your club. You have an idea, you want to do something, we want to hear about it, right? Send me a message on Facebook. You can, there's ways to send us messages on the website. You can just grab somebody at a meeting. If you have an idea, we absolutely positively want to hear it. You're welcome to come to the board meetings. If you have any ideas, show up at the board meeting. First Tuesday of the month at the Pig. Everybody's welcome. All right. The other thing, if you haven't looked recently, and probably there's not much reason to look, but our website has been neglected, and it's been sad for a very long time. That is changing as we speak. Dave has put a lot of time into it already. It is already a whole lot better than it was, and it is going to continue to improve. So it is our goal to make the website become our main source of communicating with the club. I know right now it's kind of the Facebook group, and that doesn't really work for everybody, and I totally get that, right? So the goal, we are going to this is going to be a year of transition where the website will become the primary place for you to go to get information about what's going on and what's coming up, and for communicating with each other and communicating with the board. So kudos to Dave. He's put a lot of time into this already, and it is already a lot better than it was, and it's going to continue to improve. So, check it out. If you haven't looked at the website in the past few years, go check it out. It is improving, and it will continue to improve. And like I said, that will become our primary means of electronic communication to the club. We're not going to shut down the Facebook group. That will still have its place, but the goal is for the website to be our primary means of electronic communication going forward. All right. I'm taking up way too much time, so let's go. Next slide, please. All right. Monthly meeting topics. Yes. I would say, and those of you who have served on the board in the past, one of the most difficult things the board has to do is fill up this table here on the left with topics and presentations. It's a challenge, and it's if you have ideas, if you have presenters, if you want to present yourself, please let us know. We are always looking for content. You can see right there on the schedule there, we have 7 months we've accounted for so far this year, but we have 5 months. The first one there in May, we don't have anything to present yet. All right. So, if it gets to May, it's just going to be, Dan Copper up there doing shadow puppets and impersonations. So nobody wants to see that, right? So please give us your ideas. We are always looking for ideas. We're always looking for presenters. Any idea you've got, we want to hear about it. All right. So you already know what this month's is. We have a topic for February. I have recruited Rich, our brand new bombardier. He's going to help me out. We're going to do a presentation, hopefully at the Pig. We're going to talk about using sous vide in your mashing and how that works, and how you can use a sous vide, what you can do, what you can't do, limitations. I think it'll be cool. So, because I use a sous vide to maintain temperature in my mash, as does Rich. We'll bring our equipment. We'll show you how that works. We'll, talk about how, shortcomings of it, blah, blah, blah. That's the topic for February. March is the bombing run, like I said. So March is set. April, let's talk about April. April, really cool idea. Got to give credit where credit's due. This is Dave's idea, and I think this was a fantastic idea. What we want to do in April is we want to get volunteers to brew a smash pale ale. And if you're not familiar with that term, smash stands for single malt and single hop. All right. And what we would be looking for is volunteers to brew and to bring a 6-pack of their beer to the April meeting. Now, how we're going to do this, everybody would brew the same exact recipe. I have a smash recipe. It's super, super simple, right? It's single malt, so it's just 2-row and single hop. We'll talk about hops in a second. And it's like US-05. It's about the most basic beer you can think of, right? I have a all grain version of the recipe. I have a extract version of the recipe. So if you're an extract brewer, you can sign up. What the cool part about this idea is everybody who signs up will get the recipe, and you will be assigned a different hop to use. All right. So if we get 10 different people to brew at the meeting, we'll have 10 versions of the beer, same recipe. The only difference will be different hops. I know, Dan, you weren't expecting that, were you? Right? This is awesome. So we'll have somebody brew it with Citra, and we'll have somebody brew it with Mosaic, and we'll have somebody brew it with Hallertau, and we'll have somebody, 10 different hops, and we'll do a presentation. The presentation part of the meeting will be about the hops, and this is what Mosaic, and this is Citra, and blah, 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 and this is how they're similar, this is how they're different. And then we can do a tasting, right? So here's this pale ale done with Citra. Here's the very same pale ale done with Mosaic. Here's the very same pale ale done with Hallertau, so on and so forth. How cool is that, right? But we need volunteers. And the more people that volunteer, the cooler this will be, right? If we get 3 volunteers, this isn't going to be so great. But if we get 10, this is going to be awesome. And it's going to be a lot of fun. I can't actually. I need to finish this and then I can. All right. I am going to put out, look for a sign-up sheet coming soon. All right. And so we're going to look for volunteers. If you have a favorite hop and you say, I really, really want to do Mosaic, great. You can do Mosaic or whatever, right? But if you don't care, we will assign you a hop. We will assign you a hop. And I would like to do, a wide range of hops. We want to do some American high alpha acid C hops, right? You want to do some noble hops, German noble hops. We want to do some British hops, maybe some crazy New Zealand hops or South African, or God only knows, right? We'll pick hops that are accessible, right? I'm not going to assign you some crazy hop that's impossible to get, but this is the plan, right? So we're going to give this a try. If it's a success, maybe we'll do it again in the fall. But in the fall, what we'll do is, I don't know, everybody does the same recipe, but we do a different yeast, right? Something like that. Or, we can do, we have to plan this out. We could do, everybody does the same recipe, but, a different base grain or something like that, right? I do 2-row, you do Pilsner, somebody else does Maris Otter, blah, 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 right? But the whole idea of this is it enables you to kind of taste these beers side by side with only one thing being different, right? Like with the yeasts, somebody does USO5 and somebody does a Kvike and somebody does a Belgian and somebody does a lager yeast, but otherwise the recipe is exactly the same, right? Cool, fun, right? I think this is a really great idea. Like I said, I cannot take credit for it. This is Dave Bill's idea, which is fantastic. So we're going to try it in April. I think this is, the first doing the smash with just everybody doing a different hop, I think is an easy way to get it started. And we'll see how that plays out. Like I said, look for a sign-up sheet coming soon. I'll get the signups out. There's not going to be any limit. Like if 20 people want to do this, great. We'll have 20 different beers to try, but we'll have the sign up sheet out there. And then I will get, like I said, I have a really basic pale ale recipe. I'll get that to everybody in plenty of time so that you guys can brew in, March or late February, whatever you want to do. The beer will, plenty of time to have it ready for the April meeting. But like I said, after April, that's where it gets scary, right? We need a topic for May. We need a topic for June and August, September, October. We need topics, please, 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 please. If you have ideas, we really want to hear them. If you know somebody who would be willing to present, we really want to hear it. If you know somebody who works in the brewing industry and would be willing, even if it's kind of like a salesy thing, they want to come in and, tell us about whatever it is they work with, fantastic, right? I have no problem with listening to a sales rep talk about a new product. I don't have a problem with that, but we need topics. So if you have an idea, again, send me a message on Facebook, send a message on the website. Just let us know next time we're in person, whatever. But we would love to hear your ideas about topics. All right. Let's go next slide. All right. That's pretty much it. You've I've talked for enough. If recurring theme here, this is your club. We need you to volunteer. We need you to help out. We need your ideas. Please, 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 for this club to be successful, and it is successful up to this point, and I know it's going to continue to be successful. It can't just be the board running everything. You guys know who's on the board. We're really not that smart, and we're really not that creative. We need your help. All right. So if you got an idea, let us know. We need volunteers, right? That's obviously we need volunteers for a lot of different things. So let me know. Let us, and if you have an idea, let me know. Last but certainly not least, the board meets the first Tuesday of every month, 7 o'clock at the Pig. You are all welcome. Any paid member is welcome to come to any board meeting at any time. Please, we'd love to have you there. Show up. It's a blast.